Welcome to Spotlight Gulf Coast, a weekly showcase of people and events across South Mississippi. Sponsored by the IP Casino Resort and Spa, Mississippi Power Company, Gulf Sales and Supply, and Butch Osterlet Autoplex.
Welcome, everybody. Of course, I'm joined by my good friend and Superintendent of Education of the Pascagoula Gaucher School District, Wayne Rodfish. And Wayne, different studio, but still the same two characters. We've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, it's been 17 years. It's been a good 17 years.
I know at your retirement the other day, I just threw a question out. I was talking to Hank Bounds, of course, and Hank was there. And I said, when did you start or leave? And it got to 2005. I asked Debbie, I said, what day did Wayne start? And it coincidentally, you and I started M&M Bank the exact same day, was named director of the foundation, exact same day you became superintendent of education. And of course, 28 days later, it all changed.
It did. And I'll tell you, I asked Hank whenever I first took the job, you know, Hank, what if we struggle? What if we have a big event occur? And like, Wayne, failure is not an option. Right. And then Hurricane Katrina hits and just decimates Jackson County, Harrison County, Hancock County. And we had tremendous opportunity as a result of that storm. And, you know, some people looked at it as a great tragedy, and it was. Right. But there's so much opportunity that was born as a result of that storm.
That's the exact way I looked at it. I was starting a career. I said, this is the moment I was born for. Yeah. And we ended up, of course, you know, connecting. You have some of the old players, Paige Roberts back in the day. She was Red Cross. And you think about some of those players are still around today. But, you know, we were able to do some things working together, you know, me having the bank there, and we were building that, you at education. Our worlds came together, and I know you've told the story 1,000 times. You're listening to me on the radio, right, talk about something that was really way beyond anything I could pull off, but right, you went and pulled it off.
Well, you said that we needed to have a youth center, and I just happened to have been part of Lynn Meadows Discovery Center since my daughter was born, Brianna, who's now 25. And I said, you know, we really need to create a space like this in Jackson County for children. And you happen to be on the radio talking about the same concept. And I said, you know what, we've got the building to do it. We might as well clear that building out, and we'll do a room by room. And you jumped on board, and you helped us to pull resources together. And it's made all the difference. We have over 50,000 children attend our Super Saturdays at the Aaron Jones Family Interactive Center now. And it's very much like Lynn Meadows, only we have a technological aspect to it as well with all of our computer sets are available.
It really, in a lot of ways, brought our community together. I mean, we brought in industry, we brought in small business, we brought in the civic clubs, and then you had, you know, the kids, you know, obviously as the focal point. But we started holding all of our events there. I mean, whenever we kick off the Jolly, we'd start doing it there, and we started working together. I'll never forget when you brought in, you know, we brought in the entire Pascagoula band into the IP Casino. And they marched through the big room at the IP along with Ocean Springs. Right. And here we are working together as school districts, you know, raising monies for the community. So, you know, again, it's making partnerships that you've been able to do so well, but you also are visionary. Every summer, you wanted to show me what y'all were doing, the new right, things that you were doing. And there's just so many things, you probably can't even list them all.
No, and I would say some of the biggest things that we've accomplished, number one, building a stadium in Gaucher that no one had ever thought about, putting in dressing rooms for softball, baseball, indoor batting cages, having new gyms totally renovated, building a new performing arts center, which is a great venue for everyone. And the thing is, we have expanded it so that not just Pascagoula Gaucher students are using it, but we now have dance recitals there from Ocean Springs and Pascagoula and all those different areas. So it's really been a place for us to bring all of Jackson County together under one roof. This weekend we had Donna's recital. We had probably 2,400 people in that facility over that time. Right. That adds to the commerce of the community because people are buying gas or buying meals, they're shopping at the stores. And so whenever you provide that, there are so many other variables that are associated with building that venue. And I think it's paid off really well for us.
I know that, you know, again, from the Interactive Center to the athletic facilities to obviously the Performing Arts Center, which, you know, anybody that walks in that and doesn't get it, they're not going to. So, I mean, these are, that's a world-class facility. I mean, when Dickie was down here, he said, we don't have anything like this at Oxford. I
Right.
mean, this is, you know, in a local high school. But I've been able to travel this entire region. I say it all the time. There's superintendents and then there's you. I mean, you're just on another level. You never stop, relentless. I mean, do you ever slow down?
No, not really. I'm typically up at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know that because I'll text you at 3 o'clock in the morning from time to time with a new idea. But I have to say, there are so many talented educators on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and we're here in Gulfport. Glenn East is one of those guys who's really helped us with career pathways. We've helped them a little bit with early childhood, and we share a common bond because he was also the oldest superintendent serving now, and he'll be the senior superintendent on the Gulf Coast after Katrina, because all of us were all together, Paul Tisdale from Biloxi, Glenn, and myself. And we had a really good relationship, and that carried on with Arthur McMillan, and we would travel together and talk about different ideas and things that we could do for children that people never thought were possible in public schools. Career Pathways is a prime example.
Right.
What we're doing now, we have 23 career offerings for students. We are doing interviews with students, with actual people who run businesses, and so they're getting a real live opportunity to interview and interact with business people, and then they're getting a critique back of how they did, what their resume looked like. So when you create those type of opportunities for young people, you're giving them a head start on life, and that's what we're trying to do in public schools now.
We've got a couple minutes before we got to go to a break, but along the way, a lot of accolades have come our way in Pascagoula, and I know you've been at the forefront. It's good to promote that because, again, it's putting us on the map. We've been, on the covers of magazines. You've been 100 Best Communities. Let's talk a little bit about those.
Well, creating that opportunity, it provides, recognition. And part of everything we do is trying to be on the map. When you're in Pascagoula and Goche, Mississippi, you're competing with Biloxi, Gulfport, Ocean Springs, Bay St. Louis. So what is it that we do that's a little bit different? And I think, creating that Performing Arts Center, we've become the hub of Jackson County for the performing arts now.
Oh, no question.
Having the Early Childhood Center where parents come from everywhere. And we don't restrict any of those venues to just our kids. We open it up for all the children from everywhere to come because we believe that if we can put children in that environment, then they can see themselves doing great things when they get older. And it's all about visualization. So we enjoy being recognized, but we also enjoy creating these great venues for students to participate and perform in.
We're going to come back after the break. We're going to talk a little bit about how you're only as good as the people that work for you, and you've had a tremendous staff around you. I want to talk a little bit about the convocations. You kept trying to get me to come, and when I got there, I was like, I remember next year I brought Zach. I said, you got to come see this. It's like madhouse. And so, but there was a reason for it. So we're going to take a short commercial break. We're going to be right back with Superintendent Wayne Rodfish. Welcome back, everyone. Of course, we're with Wayne Rodfish, and Wayne, we were talking about us working together for all those years. I've gotten to see, or been blessed to see, a lot of changes. Pascagoula has been transformed into really a cultural arts center, a center for kids, education system that is on par with anything that we have anywhere here in South Mississippi or anywhere around the state. But it's not about the buildings. I mean, you have obviously done a lot of good things with facilities, about the people, and you've always had that as the forefront of your entire focus.
Well, I think it's really important that you find people that are the very best at what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people when I hire them, I'm hiring you to be the very best person in this field. I don't want to do your job for you. I don't want to tell you how to do your job. If there's something that we need to tweak, I'll let you know. But I hired you because of the level of talent I believe that you possess, and I'm turning you loose with all the autonomy you need to create things that people have never seen before in public schools.
True servant leader. You give them the tools to actualize their potential, and that is certainly the most effective type of leadership. But again, you've come along with, I guess, some tools that people have really run with. I mean, I've seen this transformation to where today y'all are doing your own videos, you're doing your own production of the school district,
Right.
and you may need some help from the community, which, we obviously we have a great community that's stepped up and done that. But some of those ones that have been by your side over these years, and of course you think of Debbie right away. Debbie England has been there since day one, and I mean, it's just amazing. She's always there, just like radar. She always knows what you need before you say it, and if you forget it, she'll make sure she lets me know.
Well, she and I compiled a document this year that's 500 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
It's called our Pathways document, and basically we chronicled every big event that we've done this year. It's full color, it's totally digital, it's on my superintendent's bookshelf, but there are 50 different volumes of things that we've done there. A few unique things. Number one, we had the first unmanned aerial system drone pilots in the state of Mississippi. These are FAA certified drone pilots that are high school students. We have students who are getting their CNAs, certified nursing assistants. Next year they'll be getting LPNs. We have our own credit union within our school system. First cybersecurity courses offered in our school system. First seal of literacy in the state of Mississippi with our EL population. So all these are new things that we've been able to develop within the school district, but those are things that I haven't directly developed. Those are things that I've worked with my team, and I've let them do it, and failure has not been an option for them. And look, when you go through a pandemic, when you go through Hurricane Katrina, you go through multiple tragedies over time, then you learn that some of these things we're asking people to do are not as difficult as some of the things we've already done and some of the things we've overcome. So it's really important to me that those folks understand and are given the confidence and the support that they can be successful. And my job is to try to continue that, but in a bigger scope.
Mm-hmm. And one of the ways you do it is motivation, and motivation, sticking to a standard and not. I mean, you were always so proud of the kids and just how well behaved they were. And I've sat inside the auditorium where they sat and just lined up those rows, and not even a word, not even a peep was said. But you get the school years off with the convocations, and it gets the spirit going, and you continue it throughout the year. And it's just really remarkable to see a real leader that's not only accomplishing goals, because you have certain metric goals that you're looking. You want everybody to graduate. You want everybody to, either go to a trade school but you've come across with some slogans that we put all over the town, so the whole town gets behind it. Why is that important to get the entire community behind
I just think
something?
it's important to frame what we're there for, why we're there, and what are we doing while we're there. The convocations at the beginning of the year, I would say it's probably the largest flash mob in the state of Mississippi. 1,500 educators all dancing to different songs together. The reason we did that is at the beginning of the year, we used to go through all this data with 1,000 people sitting in a room, and you're on second grade, and you got the high school teachers in the back reading a book, and I'm like, we're going to do this out in the schools, but we're going to come together and have a celebration, a gigantic pep rally for education, and I'm going to invite the community in so they can see what we're doing, and you'll have some footage of that to look at.
Right.
But it's a big party, and it's about an hour and a half long, and we've done Be the Light. We have done Do the Impossible, Be Great, 100%. And every year we go around a theme that we think is going to help us to motivate our people to do a great job, but then carry that into our classrooms as well.
Now, you're retiring. You'll never retire, but we had a retirement ceremony the other day, and learned a lot of things. One of the most things you're proud of is your own kids, and they were all part of that, and that was sort of just so neat to see them in the Performing Arts Center, whether they were dancing, playing the guitar. I know you're very proud of that. Now, going forward, just in a couple minutes, tell us where you're going to be going.
Well, I'm heading to Lake Wales Charter System in Lake Wales, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
It's about an hour outside of Orlando, an hour and a half outside of Tampa. And, my family is constantly on an adventure. We built biomes for my children with slike animals so they could learn about habitats. When my daughter said she was interested in the periodic table, she's in 3rd grade, I took her and bought her a book on chemistry, and she memorized the periodic table. Just recently, we've been buying all types of books. My children are 2 of the top readers in the entire district, but they read over 6 million words this year. So in Florida, we're going to have all these new adventures. We have Space Camp. We have both of the seashores that we're able to take them to. We're able to go down to Miami. We're going to be able to go to some pro athletic events. So there are going to be things that they've never seen. And I believe in learning by doing and experiencing learning. And so that's how we're going to help to frame their little minds on what the world looks like. And then they can make their choice about what they want to do when they grow up.
Now, you just said something very important. I'm going to end with this because, you said you try things and you learn by experience. And I don't know how we got caught up with you being some sheriff in this movie that it's changed my life. I know that I'm totally joking. I was like, I'm not even sure what it was about. It was, we had a bunch of zombies walking around.
The name of it is Interfere. And it's about a rock that lands on Earth, and then it converts people from television into real life, and then we have to fight those people off. And now we're working on Interfere 2, where we'll be fighting werewolves.
The demand was so great that you had to do a second one.
Well, we did a second one, and actually this one I think is going to be a lot more entertaining, and we have some real stars in it. Jeremy London, Corin Nemec, Creek Wilson, Marcus Dupree. I mean, there's a wide array of stars that are going to be in this show, and we're excited about it, and it's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, those guys really show you how limited your skills at acting are whenever you're standing next to them.
Well, we had some great people in the community that got involved with that. That was fun doing, and how often do you get to, shut down streets in Pascagoula so we could shoot films? And so, again, sometimes we step up and do things, we'll certainly remember for a long time to come, and that was certainly one of them. I want to thank you for, all you've done for not only the young people of South Mississippi and Pascagoula and Goshen in particular, but as a friend for me. So thank you for coming on, Wayne.
Well, I want to say thank you, and thank you for your foundation and all the work you've done. Without your support, we couldn't have done any of it.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsor. Welcome back, everyone. We're now joined by Lexi Peters. Lexi, you're our first, I guess, senior assistant over in the Gulfport market, and that in itself is pretty exciting. I know when you probably first approached, you had no clue what we're talking about, but after a year now, you've started to see a little bit about what the Baker McCarty Foundation does.
Yes, it's been such an amazing experience. I've got the opportunity to meet so many incredible leaders throughout the Gulf Coast, attended so many events where I've just learned so much about all the behind the scenes of all the incredible things that happen here on the Gulf Coast. You know, being a part of the Renaissance the Runway fashion show, that was kind of my first event with the foundation, was one of the best experiences of my life. You know,
it's a long time ago now.
Yes. You know, being able to walk with Zach Scruggs was an honor in itself.
Right.
And so, yes, it's just been a great experience throughout this year with the foundation.
Now, going to St. Patrick and having, you know, about the best education you could be afforded. I mean, what a great school that we have up at Tradition. And you came down here, and I remember us meeting with your dad. I think we were at Marina Cantina, and we were talking about some of the things that you'd be expected to do. And again, there's never been a template that we followed. It was pretty much like, you know, whatever comes along, we'd like to get you to learn a little bit about that. But you've always been involved with things at school. I know dance has been a real important part of your life.
Right. I've grown up dancing. My mom owns Just Dance in Gulfport, so I've literally grown up in the studio. I spend all of my hours there, and I love every second of it. I've been taught by some of the most amazing teachers in America, literally, from all over the country, and I've actually been teaching at the studio since I was 7th grade. So it's just in my blood, and I love it so much. I do plan on continuing my dance career in just some small aspects. I think I want to just work at a studio in Oxford when I'm up there, and I'm going to help out with my high school dance team this summer and just some little stuff like that, but I'm definitely not finished.
Now, you've done cheerleading, you've done, you know, it's once you get out of that sort of, I guess, shell that a lot of people are in, it makes the next step in life a lot easier. So by the time you're walking the runway, it's actually fairly normal and natural, whereas a lot of people, you know, would be scared to death to even enter a room like that. So you didn't show any type of, you know, fear at all. You were able to pull that one off very well. But I think that that's important that, you know, other students step out of that. I mean, find something that they enjoy.
Yeah, that's totally in my comfort zone. Like I was saying, I've been on stage since I was 2 years old. So, you know, walking the runway stage was like second nature to me. Just that's where I've grown up.
Now, we have been able to afford you some things. Like I said, we brought you to the One Coast Awards where you got to see the leaders of South Mississippi at the Beau Rivage one morning. I remember that was something fairly unique, being featured in South Mississippi Living magazine. I mean,
definitely something that you don't hear from teens my age every single day. So grateful to be able to feature in that. What an awesome opportunity for me.
And then you said behind the scenes, you know, helping with the Jolly Kickoff, just going around, you know, you get to see how a community comes together. I don't think a lot of students understand, you know, really what goes into indirectly helping their education. And of course, the other day we were privileged to be able to give you a scholarship at the Great Southern, and we'll certainly follow you through your career. But we also want to continue this program, and we've done this very effectively in Jackson County for the last 4 years. And I watch those students like Avery Loper, who you know now is up at Ole Miss, and from there we passed it down to Bettina Bola, and then Amelia and Bella, and now, you know, we've got our senior assistants this year. But you know, that is important because as you do it and you're the first one, that's huge. Somebody in 8th or 9th grade is like, I'm going to do that.
Yes, it's been a great experience, and I'm so excited to see how this position in the Harrison County office grows over the next few years, and I'm looking forward to seeing that.
Well, you're doing that right now, just coming on TV, because I don't think we've had students on TV in quite a while. But you chose Ole Miss, and I've got to ask why.
So I grew up loving Ole Miss because my aunt went there. So when I was really young, I was this big Ole Miss fan, and then through the years I kind of switched different colleges. My dad graduated from Mississippi State, so for a few years I was a big State fan, and then I had actually planned to go to LSU for a few years, and then Two of my best friends and I went to Oxford in March of my junior year, and I just instantly fell in love with the town, the people, the community in itself. I love Oxford, and I truly believe that's where I'm meant to be. And so I'm really looking forward to the next 4 years.
So you've got a summer here where really you're getting prepared to go to Ole
Right.
Miss. And of course you'll go up there and they're very big in sororities. So I
Yes.
know that's going to
Yes.
be
I am
a
looking
great
forward
part
to
of that.
rushing.
But it's a great school, and it is a
is.
college town. And I don't know anybody, even when I was back in college, you wanted to go to Oxford. You wanted to be a part of that. But it's a special school, and you're going to be majoring in
Business.
okay,
Yes.
and business has so many different
Yes,
things
there's so many
you could-
different routes that I can go, which is great for me because I'm not 100% sold on a career path yet. And so Ole Miss's business program is outstanding. So I think it's going to be great for me to kind of figure out what's best for me in my future.
And I don't think that you're supposed to know exactly
Right,
what you want to do
100%.
when you're just graduating high
Yes.
school. But, certainly, now we've got a couple minutes left, and I wanted to talk a little bit about where you see yourself maybe in 5 years. And do you have certain thing that if you could write the script?
That is definitely a tough question. Definitely graduated from Ole Miss with a bachelor's degree, most likely in business.
Your dad will like to hear that in 5 years now, not 10-year plan or anything like that.
No, definitely not. Potentially moving back to the Gulf Coast and then just kind of figuring out from there. Again, like I was saying, figuring out what career path I feel is best for me while I'm at Ole Miss, and then just coming back and going from there.
I know that you've already promised to come back and walk back in Renaissance Runway this coming year, and then we get Zach to come back down. But, also when you're coming in the summers, we've sort of want to make a commitment to try to help you with your, placement in some, positions, see how you like it. And I think that's important that you do get that exposure before making a decision. And now, when does college, you got about a month or a month and a half?
Yes, sir, a little over a month.
Okay,
About 2
so
months.
my best advice is to probably relax a little bit, think about it. And, again, college is a lot less time, in the classroom, but a lot more education, all around.
Definitely.
So you've been a tremendous asset to us. I appreciate that. And
Well,
like I
appreciate
said,
you.
to step up, to be the first in anything, is sometimes the hardest thing to do, but wasn't so bad, was it?
No, it was not. I had a great time.
Well, we appreciate you and look forward to the future.
Yes, sir.
And we appreciate everybody's support of the Baco McCarty Foundation and this show. We can't thank WXXV enough for this generous opportunity they afford to us. Until next time, this is Todd Trenchard saying so long, and may God bless.